Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be doing my Reading Rush TBR, so let's just get into it. It is that wonderful time of year again where a lot of booktube comes together and participates in the Reading Rush / booktubeathon. A very quick note, it will probably always be the booktubeathon in my head, but 2 years ago they changed the name to the Reading Rush, so if I accidentally say booktubeathon, y'all know what I'm talking about. Speaking of that, this is going to be my 4th year participating in the Reading Rush / booktubeathon. I started in 2016, so I participated in 2016, 2017, kinda in 2018. My TBR was the last video that I made on my channel before I took my 2-year break, and as you can probably deduce, that Reading Rush did not go very well, and I skipped 2019 and now 2021. And the dates for this year are July 20th through 26th. If you guys are interested, I will also link the Reading Rush website down below because Ariel and Raylene, who are the creators of the readathon, have some really cool stuff going on, and they have a website and you can earn badges and you can get merch and all kinds of stuff. So I'll link that down below along with both of their channels and the Reading Rush channel if you guys want more information. So now let's get into my TBR. The most important part of the Reading Rush is just to come together and read as much as you can, but with that, Raylene and Ariel create 7 reading challenges that go along with the readathon, and I always try to complete as much as I can. Since I don't realistically think that I will be able to read 7 books, like 1 book per challenge, I'm probably going to be combining the same book for different challenges this year, which I've never really done before because I've tried to be an overachiever and read like 7 different books, but I just don't think that that's going to be in the cards for me this year. But for the sake of this TBR video, I'll try to give like as many books as I can. I think I ended up having like 6 that I'll talk about, but that's kind of unrealistic. I don't think that I'm actually going to be reading all these books since I'm just sort of, you know, getting back in the swing of reading and everything, but you know what? It's good to challenge yourself sometimes. So the first challenge is read a book that is the color of your birthstone, and I am an August baby, and so my birthstone is a peridot, which is a sort of like medium greenish thing, and so the book that I picked for this challenge is one that I had on my TBR for 2017 and I think 2018, and I still haven't read it, and that is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I know that this is a pretty popular YA fantasy. It is kind of like old school now because it's taken me so long to read, but it is a YA fantasy that follows a girl who escapes her kingdom, and I think she ends up being pursued by 2 different guys, and you're not sure which guy is sent to kill her and which guy is sent to marry her, and I guess it's about the 3 of them, and there's like the mystery element or something like that. I don't know. The reason why I haven't picked this up for any of the readathons is that it looks suspiciously short, but it actually is like 500 pages. But you know what? Now's the time because I have the whole series on my shelves. I like bought the whole trilogy before I read the first one. You know what? Hopefully this readathon I will finally get to it. The next challenge is read a book that starts with the word the. And for that I'm going to be doing The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rutkowski. This is another kind of big book. I think it's like almost 500 pages. It's like 450. We're just challenging ourselves this reading rush. Very generally, this series follows a girl named Kestrel and a guy named Arent, and Kestrel is the general's daughter and Arent is a slave of her people, and then one day when Kestrel ends up buying Arent to be her slave, she starts questioning sort of everything she knows and what freedom really means, and there's rebellion and love and all kinds of stuff like that. And I really liked the first one. I thought the second one was kind of like a filler book leading up to this final one, but I'm hoping that I will finally knock this series out this readathon. Challenge number 3 is to read a book based on a movie that you've already seen, and this one was probably the hardest challenge for me to do because I really do not own any books that I want to read that are good for a readathon that I've already seen the movie of. This might be kind of a cheat answer, but I decided to go with like a Beauty and the Beast retelling because I have seen both the animated and the live action version of Beauty and the Beast. So I thought, you know what, that like kind of works, right? And so I have 2 options for this because I have 2 Beauty and the Beast retellings because Beauty and the Beast retellings were just the hot commodity for YA for a long time. Not sure if I'm going to like either of these, but you know what, we'll see. So those 2, I have Hunted by Megan Spooner and Haven by Mary Lindsay. I know Hunted kind of seems more like the traditional Beauty and the Beast story, except that Beauty goes into the woods and like hunts the beast, but Haven is kind of like a gender swapped version, I guess. This one I don't think I'm going to like because literally in the summary it says, Freddie isn't like normal teen girls. So we'll see. But this is, I say gender swap because like the beauty in the book, like as in the girl, ends up being like the beastly character, and so it's kind of like gender swapped. I don't know, you know, the reviews are okay for this one. So, you know, I'm just going to try it out and see what I think. I'm not sure, like I said, which one I'm going to pick up for the readathon, but you know, this way I have some options. The fourth challenge is read the first book that you touch, which I will get back to in like just a second. The fifth challenge is read a book completely outside your house, and girl. This challenge got some major drama when it was first announced, but I can totally see how it can be done safely despite the COVID-19 epidemic for people who can, you know, go outside their house, on their patio, in their backyard, so and so. But unfortunately for me, I'm going to be one of those people that cannot complete this challenge literally, because as much as I would love to go outside and like read in my backyard, I live in a very hot state. As in, yesterday it was 116 degrees Fahrenheit, so I just don't think it's in the cards for me to read anything outdoors, and I can't go to like my library or anything like that because my state is also currently being overrun by coronavirus. So I'm gonna probably try to like sit next to an open window or listen to some nature sounds. You know, unfortunately I won't be able to do it literally, but I can do it kind of figuratively. I can imagine that I am outside amidst the heat, and can imagine that I'm outside with the concrete that is so hot it can like fry an egg. You know, I'll just imagine that while I'm safely inside my air conditioning as I read Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This book has been on my shelf since it was an ARC copy, and I just haven't got around to it. I know this fellow's a boy named Justice, and he kind of has it all. I know he goes to like a prestigious prep school, and he's on his way to being very successful in his life, and along the way he writes letters to Martin Luther King Jr. But in the midst of all this, there's some kind of gun violence or shooting, and then he ends up being like the prime suspect of this shooting, even though he has nothing to do with it. And although this isn't like a catch-all, which some people like to think it is, think like The Hate You Give and Dear Martin are like, oh well, if I read those two books, then you know what, I understand racism. Clearly that's not the case, but since I still haven't read this book and it's nice and short, I'm hoping that I can read it for the readathon. Next is to read a book from a genre that you don't normally look to, and I decided to go with All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. And this is a memoir slash nonfiction book. I've heard so many things, especially recently, that were just in glowing praise of this book. And the audiobook is so short, it's like 3 hours long, so it's perfect for a readathon. And I know that the audiobook is narrated by George Johnson himself, and it is about his life as a black queer boy growing up in America. And you know, I've just heard that it's phenomenal, and I need to get on this trend. And number 7 is finally to read a book that takes place on a different continent than you. So I live in North America, and so I have to pick a country other than that, which is kind of difficult. I decided for this challenge that I was going to listen to another audiobook that I have saved on my phone, and that is Queenie by Candace Carty Williams. And this is a book that takes place in England. I think that this would be considered either new adult or an adult contemporary book, because it follows 25-year-old Queenie, who is half British, half Jamaican, and she lives in London. It seems from the summary that she has to deal with a lot of racism from like day-to-day life and also in the workplace, along with getting into some toxic relationships after she has a really bad breakup. That is sort of the general summary that I am getting from like the Goodreads page. I've heard very mixed reviews on this book. Like either people love it to pieces or people absolutely despise it, and I'm excited to see where I stand on the scale. I see the people saying that Queenie is like a hot ass mess and she's really annoying, but other people saying that it's very realistic. So you know what? I want to form my own opinion on it, and I think that it will be eye-opening for me because I haven't read a lot of literature that features a black woman in their like 20s. I've mostly been reading like YA stories, and so I think that this would be a very much needed change of pace for me. Anyway, and we're not done yet, people, because I have to go back to challenge number 4, which is to read the first book that you touch. So how I decided to interpret this challenge is that I have 5 options for physical books, and then I have my 2 audiobooks. And so audiobooks are not going to count in this challenge because I'm just going to mix all of these up, try not to be biased in it, and then I'm just going to pick one of these books, and then that's going to be the book that I read first for the readathon. And also I have both of my options, these 2, for the movie prompt, and so if I pick one of those, then that'll be that decision. Anyway, so I'm going to try to close my eyes, mix these up. I was thinking about maybe I should just like drop them on the floor and like close my eyes, and then whichever one like I find first, maybe that'll be fun. All right, I'm gonna mix them up right here, and then like I'm just gonna drop them on the ground. I know all y'all that are like, don't drop your books on the ground. It's okay. Okay, ready? Oh god, I hope that was okay. Okay, now I'm just going to bend down and pick whichever one I touch first. I picked The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. So, okay, so the book that I'm going to be picking up first while doing the reading rush is The Kiss of Deception. Thank God I can finally read this book. Alright, so there you have it. Those are all of the books that I'm hoping to read for the reading rush. I hope everyone out there will consider at least participating. If you don't want to, that's totally okay, but I just really love this readathon and it's close to my heart. Also, just a quick note, I probably won't be vlogging for this readathon just because, again, like, I'm kind of still slowly getting back into things and I just don't want to put like too much pressure on myself to vlog and do the reading challenges and stuff, but we'll see how the week goes. I might like upload a short little vlog like at the end of the week. I might do the video challenges. Maybe I'll do the Bookstagram challenges over my Instagram, but I'm really not sure, and I don't want to put like a lot of pressure or expectations on myself, so we're just going to leave it at, we don't know what we're going to do throughout the week, but hopefully we will at least be reading. Anyway, so let me know if you will be participating and what your favorite challenge is, what you're most excited for, what books you're going to be reading. Just tell me all the reading rush stuff down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you later in another video. Bye!